Hello and welcome. This is Africa Weekly. The importance of a secured and enabling environment to the growth of any nation cannot be overemphasized. That is why many countries in Africa are taking the issue of security seriously more than ever before. Nigeria, being the largest economy in the continent, has continued to evolve ways of solving the challenges of insecurity. This week, we shall focus on the latest considerations by the government to tackle this problem. Of course, we have other stories of development across the continent in the package. My name is Justin Bemunya and I welcome you to Africa Weekly. The proposed ban on motorcycles in an attempt to find a lasting solution to the security challenge in Nigeria has been engaging the minds of stakeholders. How far can this measure go if implemented?
The spate of security breaches witnessed in recent times across the country is worrisome, both to government and the governed. Apart from the proper regulatory measures for the public transportation and the activities of miners, there is need for the security forces to act fast on intelligence to secure the nation.
At a point in time, mining activities were suspended in Zamfara, and the result was not good. In fact, that seems to have even increased the level of terrorism and banditry in Zamfara state.
So I think instead of looking at it from this micro level, we should look at it from that higher level where we admit that transportation is a key component of our security sector.
They are thinking that everybody riding motorcycle is an Okada. It's not like that. We have motorcycles using by, I can say, individuals. And we have the ones that our members are operating that we call commercial.
They also advocated the use of drones and surveillance helicopters to monitor terrorist activities.
You need drones, and then drones that can attack, drones that can inform people, and then you have a standby, a mobile hard-hitting standby force that will be able to hit when this sort of things is.
They also called for synergy among the tiers of government in the fight against insecurity.
Now, joining us to analyze the issue deeper is the National Treasurer of the Association of Licensed Private Security Practitioners of Nigeria. He is Honorable Chinedu Egbenumolise. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming on the program Africa Weekly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Briefly, can you give us your perspective on the security challenges in Nigeria?
Thank you. We are having currently very serious security challenges across the country of varying kinds, from those that are challenging us as a nation, and those that are challenging individuals and businesses. And then we have issues relating to kidnapping, we have issues relating to banditry, and creating economic and social disruptions across board. So it's a serious situation that requires a collective national effort to curb them in at their roots. And I want to submit that most of these issues have their roots in the current demonstration of acute lack of patriotism. From
we'll talk about finding ways or efforts to curb this maybe subsequently. But from what you said, how would you gauge the level of impact that insecurity is having on Nigeria's social and economic life?
It is very, very huge. The impact of the insecurity in Nigeria today on our national socio-economic life is very, very huge. In fact, it is already creating imbalance and disruptions in all that we do, whether as in nations, whether as individuals, and whether as businesses.
In light of this, what are your thoughts on the proposed ban of motorcycles, as a way of tackling insecurity in Nigeria?
Yeah, I saw that report somewhere, and I look at it like it's a policy issue, but policy issues that will affect the lives of citizens of the country should be looked at very critically, very deeply before we arrive at such decisions or such policy positions, because I'm aware that motorcycle transportation, otherwise generally known as Okada, exists in several places in the country, and while they pose a security challenge in several other places, there are many other places that they have been running smooth without security issues. So to put a blanket ban on all Okada riders across the country will not be, I will not see it as a well thought out decision. We should instead profile areas and localities where we have these challenges and then address them as such. It's like looking at saying that because people have been making or carrying out attacks and robberies with vehicles, therefore vehicles should be banned across board. Let us be able to profile situations where we have challenges and then tackle them at those levels, instead of doing a blanket general ban on Okada, because we know that it provides a serious economic source of existence for several Nigerians, and also provides ease of transportation for several Nigerians. So they should be the thoughts that should agitate our mind to be able to help us focus on how to isolate areas where we have issues and address them accordingly.
You submitted that solving the challenge of insecurity in the country requires a collective effort from every sector or from every Nigerian. Now, what kind of contribution do you think that the private security sector can make in solving security challenges in the country?
The private security industry today is a growing industry, and we currently have an umbrella association of licensed private security practitioners of Nigeria, that puts all the licensed practitioners in the industry together to try to galvanize our efforts and our contributions to national security. And what the role we can play, or we do play currently, is already well known. We have private security companies who provide security guards in businesses, at people's homes, at government institutions, and several locations across the country. So that already tells you that we have presence, because that physical presence is even key. So now we can be looking at the area of information gathering, that you have people in a place who will witness incidents firsthand, and then they're able to pass those information across through a defined channel, and then those information can now be processed to intelligence. Whether they are actionable or not will not be a different issue, but there are people in locations that will witness events, incidents firsthand, and then put information across, because there is no doubt, for those who are familiar with security management, the very first primary basic stuff is to be able to get information in a timely manner. And when you do that, you now put all the measures in place to follow up and see that the threats that those incidents could have posed will be addressed also promptly.
I believe in the course of playing your role in contributing to national security, you have some hurdles, you have some challenges. Can you talk about the challenges the private security sector faces in the country?
It's a very capital intensive industry. And then you will see the CBN and the banks have no specific tailored product to assist companies and operators in this industry. You have the farmers, you have the medical sector, and several other sectors of the economy getting specific financing programs that are designed to assist them grow and get relief from cash shortages. in the delivery of their services. So, but the banks, the CBN has not been able to identify that this is a need to give support to these companies. So if these companies are doing well, they will grow, because we must understand that they are a high employer of labor in this economy. If you take away the federal government of Nigeria, I think the next, and maybe the next sector you can be looking at is the private security industry, with so many number of gas personnel in different sectors, from the gas services to escort to equipment installation and servicing and all whatnot. So we have a need for financing that should come from an organized policy from the government, to say that the CBN look at this sector and see what you can do to provide easy access to funding at a less than at a single digit interest rate. We're not talking about dashing the companies money now because they're business entities. We're talking about giving them access to loans that they can service easily, and then without having so much difficulty in accessing those loans. That way the companies will be enhanced, and when they are enhanced and they are strong enough, they will provide that real backup and create that fill up that gap between the government security agencies and the people. If we fill that gap, we know there will be no doubt that we will drive this insecurity away from our body policy.
Okay, finally, in your opinion, at what level do you think government should incorporate the private security sector into the security apparatus of the nation?
Yes, very good. At the national association level, even at the states, we have been working to see that we push that the required recognition for the operators in the industry, for the private security companies, for the government to understand their role, the actual role of the private security company, and what impact they can make in the effort they are trying to put to address insecurity in Nigeria. One of such recognition came from the federal government, from the president himself, President Muhammadu Buhari, during the COVID-19 lockdown. The private security industry was one of those few service providers that was granted the pass. While the entire nation was on lockdown, the private security companies were granted the pass to be able to have free movement and service their locations, monitor their locations, and provide their service to their clients. These are the kind of recognitions that will boost the operations in the industry and bring about the required impact that will bring to bear on the polity, helping to address the insecurity that has now become a topical issue in the country on a daily basis.
Well, Honorable Chinedu Egbenu Molise, I thank you so much for coming on the program, Africa Weekly. I thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the security challenges in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you inviting me.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, that has been the National Treasurer, Association of Licensed Private Sector Security Practitioners of Nigeria. He is Honorable Chinedu Egbonu Molise. And Africa Weekly continues with the tidbit segment. Do stay tuned. We now take you to Monrovia, where Liberia's independence anniversary held with a fun fair. Land of the free and Africa's oldest republic is 175-year-old as an independent nation. President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria joined other African leaders in Monrovia as the country commemorates this landmark. He pledged Nigeria's continued support to efforts at sustaining peace, unity and progress of the West African nation.
Liberia is the first nation in Africa to gain independence from the American Colonization Society in 1847. The country, however, experienced a 15-year civil upheavals and tragic war that destroyed the very fabric of its economy. Liberia is now peaceful, stable and progressing steadily, and as a matter of pride, the people cannot help rolling out the drums in celebrations.
Liberia will be safe. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. President.
The special guest of honor at the event, President Muhammadu Buhari, takes pride in Nigeria's contributions to the survival, safety and stability of Liberia during the dark period of the country's civil war.
As we celebrate the 175th independence anniversary, as well as the 200 years of Liberia's nationhood, it is appropriate to underscore that so much concerted efforts are still needed for sustainable development and growth of Liberia. Permit me to assure you and all Liberians that Nigeria, as a good partner, would continue to support you in these efforts within the limits of our resources.
The Nigerian leader used the opportunity to once again reaffirm the commitment of his administration to free, fair, transparent and credible 2023 elections. He also made a strong case for Liberia and Sierra Leone, who also return to the polls next year, to also key into this resolve, describing it as indispensable to peace and stability in their countries and the sub-region.
The deepening of democracy and good governance are essential antidotes to checkmate and constitutional change of governments, as we sadly witnessed within the last 3 years in 3 countries within our sub-region. We must strengthen our efforts to guarantee the irreversibility of democracy in our sub-region and Africa.
President George Manewea, who spoke at length on fostering unity and protecting Liberia's peace for development and prosperity, said never again will the country allow ethnicity, political strife and similar vices take root in the society. Liberians, he said, must strive to continually rebuild their national fabric and forge ahead as one indivisible people to the future they deserve.
We have a patriotic duty and a sacred obligation to protect our sovereignty through good deeds, innovation, and hard work, to sustain the peace, security, and stability of this first independent nation in Africa called Liberia.
Several other world leaders delivered goodwill messages at the event.
President Emmanuel Macron has rounded off his tour of West African countries, especially former French colonies, with the return of more artifacts top on the agenda.
Statues, scepters, and the doors of the Royal Palace of Dahomey. These are just some of the 26 pieces of looted artifacts returned by France's Quai Branly Museum in November 2021 after 3 years of negotiation. A priority for President Patrick Talon since his election in 2016.
We're not going to ask for everything to be returned. Beninese works must remain in museums around the world so that the world sees the greatness of Benin.
These pieces have a very unique significance. They're royal property. taken as the spoils of war during the French looting of the Kingdom of Dahomey in 1892. While some were returned, thousands of others remain in France. In the original palaces of Abomey, traditional leaders hope to see them returned.
I am happy, but there are still many objects to be recovered, like those of the Amazon women who lost their lives fighting against the French. What belonged to them was taken away by the colonizer. I would like all this to come back too.
Authorities are hopeful the return of these 26 artefacts is only the beginning of a long process of restitution.
France started the restitution process with these 26 works. We believe that this is only the beginning, and we are sure that it's a movement that will not stop anytime soon.
In 2018, historians hinted at the establishment of a legal framework that would facilitate the return of stolen pieces of art to the African continent, something Emmanuel Macron is considering.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has indicated that President Biden's administration's goal is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth and development across the African continent, to expand capital flows and promote the vibrant spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation that is so prevalent across the continent. This was the just concluded U.S.-Africa Business Summit held in Marrakesh, Morocco, where she emphasized the importance of boosting relations with the African continent.
The 14th U.S.-Africa Business Summit 2022, which took place in Marrakesh, had participants exchange ideas around the opportunities to strengthen industrial links, investment and trade between the African continent and the United States.
Greetings from Washington, D.C. I want to thank
U.S.
the
Vice President in her statement said she believes in the power of public-private partnerships that bring together the experience and the expertise of the private sector with the mission of government to act for the public good and with the public trust and the reach and capacity that governments can give uniquely to any endeavor.
By working together, we can unleash growth and opportunity that far exceeds what either the public or private sector can achieve on its own. And as everyone here knows, there is so much opportunity for economic growth in Africa and, of course, in the United States, when we collaborate and coordinate. Africa is the world's fastest growing continent. By 2030, the continent will have 1.7 billion people, home to 1/5 of the world's population. The continent also is increasingly young, urban, and connected. There is a growing demand for food, healthcare, education, technology, and infrastructure.
She affirmed that the U.S. administration recognizes the critical importance of strengthening its relationship with countries across Africa.
The Biden-Harris administration is committed to working with all of you to address these issues in furtherance of the African Union's Agenda 2063. With regard to food insecurity, we are focused on the urgent need to increase food production and exports with and within Africa.
The summit, she noted, demonstrated Washington's enduring commitment to its African partners, adding that it will be based on principles of mutual respect and shared interests and values.
I am pleased to see the advances made in implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area, and we will work with you to ensure its success. The United States is committed to bring to bear all the tools at our disposal, including development financing, grants and technical assistance, and support for legal and regulatory reforms, all to help our African partners thrive.
She also announced that she and President Joe Biden are looking forward to welcoming African leaders to Washington, D.C. from December 13 to 15, 2022 for the United States-Africa Leaders Summit. The summit gathered more than 1,500 participants, 80% of which were from the major U.S. and African business communities, and 40% of which were women.
That's our package this week. Thank you for being part of it. My name is Justin Bemui.